Okay, everybody. So, if anyone on my account is following my father or Joshua L. Dearden, I want you to know this right now. If you've seen his video of me, him explaining to you what happened and me telling him that I no longer want to see him, you don't know the true story behind it. You don't know the true reason why I need to stop seeing him. You don't know the truth. Whatever he's told you is a complete scam and lie. All he's trying to get out of you and the people who you follow is support and pity. He wants your pity, okay? I've dealt with this man for 16 fucking years of my life. And still, I hate him. I used to think I knew him. And I don't. I don't know him anymore. Okay. I no longer know my father, and I don't want to know him. Because I already know what I need to know. And the truth is that he abused me and my mother long before she died. She died when I was 2 in a train wreck. I was in that wreck, and I survived for I don't know how. But know this now, whatever he's told you, whatever you think you know, whatever you think is the truth, is a lie. And I will explain to you all the truth. Because I have proof of what he's done to me and my mother. And he's not the good guy, trust me. None of you know him like I have known him. And I know. Okay, so I'm going to try and make this quick, and I'm going to explain to you the truth and what he's done to me and the truth behind it. When I was 2, I'm going to actually give you guys the whole story. Because I want you to know the truth and quit being lied to. But when I was 2, my mother died in a train wreck. And I was in that wreck and I survived. But my mother did not. And, after that happened, my grandmother and my father went to the courts so they could see who would get custody of me. And my father did not get custody of me because of his lifestyle, how he was living. And before that, the police had been called and the police had went to his house over. My grandmother had called the police on my father because of my mom was telling my grandmother that she was being abused and that I was being abused and pushed around, and so was she by my father. But they never arrested him because to him the cop said he was okay, he was fine, but he truly wasn't, and neither were me and my mom. And my mom actually once tried to kill herself because of how my father was treating her. And she lost her mind because of my father. She was destroyed because of my father. And my father's going around and saying my grandmother is destroying my mind, is mind warping me. It's my father who is. And you need to believe that. My mother had tried to commit suicide, and so it's because of how my dad treated her. And so she had to move into my grandmother's place and moved in with my grandmother. And then this happened a lot of times. And my mother loved my dad and didn't want to get rid of him. Didn't want to lose him or anything. And so one day my mother moved out, and then one day my mom and me were going to my uncle's, and we got stuck on the train tracks, and we didn't get out in enough time, and she died after the train hit the car. And so after my mother's death, they went to the courts to see who would get custody over me. And the courts decided that after reviewing how my father's living situation was and how his work situation was, that it was not fit for me to live with him. It was not fit living conditions. It was better for me to move with my grandparents. Because my father was not living correctly, and he had been taken to a hospital for trying to commit suicide also. And so I went and I lived with them for a couple of years. I still live with them. And then after maybe a year or so, I started having visitations with my father. And that did not go well at all. So then visitations started when I was about 3 or 4. And my father couldn't even do that right. He would always come up with excuses for why he was late, why he was never on time. And most of his visitations were taken from him because he was not responsible enough to get up on time, be ready on time, and get there on time when he needed to. And that's part of the reasons why he always disappointed me and stuff, and he was always expecting me to think he was the greatest and he think he was the best father ever, when truthfully he was the worst father ever. And he can't even play the father role right, so I don't know how he can easily lie to you like this. So, and also what I mean by he couldn't play the father role right is he was never there. He never truly cared, because, and I don't think he ever truly cared about my mom. All he wanted was his self-pleasure and his own desires to be above all else, because he controlled my mom. He destroyed her. He changed her terribly. And ever since I've started visitations with him, he's probably been with over, 20 to 25 different girls, different women. And he's never held a relationship with them because he's too insecure and he's too damn controlling. He's a controlling man. Also look out for that. And so, visitations that were taken away from him were actually his fault, because he never made it there on time. And when I was younger, I always looked up to him because I always wanted a dad. Because I'd hear all these other kids, all my other friends say, I have a dad, we play catch, we do this, we do that. And I can never say that because my dad was somewhere with some woman or in some hotel because he didn't have a job, or in his truck sleeping because he had no job and nothing to take care of himself and stuff.
Alright, so I've decided I'm not going to share my whole life story because there's a lot of people on this app that I don't want them knowing anything or knowing too much, but yeah, I'm just gonna say he cannot even be a father, and another reason he was such a terrible father is because come this last Christmas, a little while before it, my grandpa died, and I live with my grandmother and grandpa, and I dearly loved my grandfather because he was more of a dad to me than my own father was. And when I had my visitation with my dad, he did not even care to ask how I was doing, and when he couldn't even step up to the plate to even ask how I was doing or if I was okay, that just hurt me even more than I was hurt. And then the next day, I told him about my sexuality, and he basically flipped on me, saying he was disappointed and that I was a disappointment to him, and that he never raised me to be like this. Because, first of all, he didn't even raise me. He was barely there. And he kept saying, and he told me that it was my fault that he never got custody of him, because I was never nice enough or anything like that. And the worst thing is, he could never even respect me after that, because he kept being a jerk to me about it, kept questioning me about it, kept asking me why, not giving me any chance to explain myself. And because, first off, I love this person, and second of all, my sexuality is something I found out. No one raised me to be like this. I am who I've made myself to be. And I'm 16, almost 17. So, and it's my choice. And if I want to stop seeing him, I can stop seeing him. Because, to be honest, I need to. And that's the truth behind it. Any viewers of Joshua or anything, you need to watch this now and learn the truth.